What's going on, Jeromes? We are back. Happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday. Ho, mess of tacos out there, everyone, everywhere. Daily Jerome's live stream, 11 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Thursday. Thank you very much for coming along, making this part of your day. We're here to talk a little Vikings, a little nonsense, a little... if you're new to the channel, subscribe, come along for daily Vikings takes. Content-wise, we just put up 2 film rooms. So we took a look at the 4th and Inches by Madison, and if he bounced outside, I don't know if he gets it. Like watching it real time, it just like just cut off of Ham's butt, get to the 6-hole. But the way that Barton had taken on Ham as well as Bobby Wagner was scraping free, I don't know if he gets it. So check out that video. Also, we broke down the Cameron Dancer mistakes on the 4th and 10 as well as the 4th and 6, the game loser. The 4th and 6 one is, I have a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions, and just, yeah. So check out those videos. Thanks for coming along. Also, join the Discord. Bam. Discord, we have over 200 Jeromes over there. Daily Vikings, 24/7 Vikings chat. Basically, if you like the live stream chat, you'll like the Discord. So check that out. Also, purpleftw.com/support. Hit us up. All right. So we got a bunch of questions. Live chat getting warmed up. What's going on? George St. Baptiste. What's going on in the front office right now? The fan base, commentators, analysts have all said the guard is killing the Vikings. Larry Warford, Ron Leary, Josh Klein are all available. And if they don't want to sign, they got Cleveland starting guard. I agree that a change does have to be made. Well, Samia's first 3 starts were horrible. Like, he was the worst guard in the league. And then this one was just a full-on implosion. Zimmer said that a lot of his holding penalties were because he was out of position. Well, that's on coaching. That's on coaching as well as just skill. And I don't think that they've necessarily been firing on all cylinders. I think Brett Jones would be a good replacement. Oli Udoh, if his finger's fine, would be good. Hell, Ezra Cleveland at this point, even though, I don't agree with him in a guard versus left tackle, fine. As far as, so Larry Warford opted out because of COVID. People keep forgetting that. Ron Leary has had a couple of visits. I would be okay with him. And, of course, Josh Klein would be the one to sign. You know, familiarity with the scheme and has played at a decently high level at right guard for the Vikings before. I don't understand it. King Kirk. People really made Dantzler turn off all of his comments on Instagram. Yeah, I saw that. That's kind of sad. But, yeah. People get way too carried away. Of course, you get the keyboard muscles, too. Or, well, I guess... texting muscles. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, but you know, as a pro athlete, it's sort of be expected, and you take all the praise. Like Cameron Dantzler, has a game-winning interception there at the end. Of course, he's gonna have all the praise, but you got the sweet and you got the sour. Unfortunately, the sour is just like absolutely terrible. But David Palomares, why does this organization bring so much pain? I'm just convinced that Minnesota is like cursed. It's an ancient Native American burial ground. The entire state, every single team except for the Lynx brings pain. They do. Also, the United probably suck. I don't really follow soccer, but they probably suck. Pulford Skull. Stefanski is 4-1, getting it done. Yeah, the Browns' offense looks damn good, man, and looks like a real leader. Really happy for him. Take us through what happened if he was not here for 2019. Also, who would the coaches be, play calling, etc. Well, all right. So Stefanski was in place before they brought in the Kubiak contingent, and that was also Stefanski's idea because he and Clint Kubiak go way back like chiroprac. So if Zimmer decided not to go with Stefanski, I do wonder what would have happened. Would they have brought back Pat Shurmur? Because I think that Stefanski was named before the Broncos got Shurmur. Broncos. All right, so January 14th. Oh, they've been pretty tight. No. Yeah. All right, so Shurmur's already named the Broncos OC before the Vikings had their business. But if the Vikings... wait, no. I'm a dummy. He was still as head coach of the Giants. So 2019. Yeah, I'm thinking way ahead. I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah. What would have happened if the Vikings would have traded Zimmer to Dallas and elevated Stefanski? Woo, woo. Myco Knight. The Vikings could win out. It's not a difficult schedule, assuming they play well and Zimmer stops going for 2. Skull from Los Angeles. Yeah, I feel like Zimmer's just going for 2 before he obviously has to, because he's trying to be all nouveau, because that's what the cool kids are doing. That's what the analytics people say to do, but it doesn't make sense to chase points before you have to. But yeah, Falcons 0-5, showdown at Green Bay week 8, and then you got the Lions, the Bears, who are massively overrated, the Cowboys, who maybe Panthers, hey Teddy, Jaguars are trash. Saints look eminently beatable. They do. And who knows if Michael Thomas is going to be suspended for Christmas Day or not. But yeah, Drew Brees. So they were doing a compilation of Drew Brees Monday Night Highlights, and they had like games from 06 and 09 and even 2013. And like the difference between Drew Brees' arm strength then and what it is now, it's we're not an arm strength snob. Like every single quarterback doesn't have to be Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, but you have to be at a certain level. And Drew Brees has certainly fallen off that level, man. It's just really rough. It's even worse than 2015 Peyton. Like it's full on shot puts out there. Like at least Brady, to a degree, can still push it downfield, but it's just like Miles. What does your family think of the podcast, and are they Vikings fans? They really don't care, and they're Vikings fans in the sense of, hey, they win? Yeah. Nick Jones. Scroll. Nick Jones, have you ever considered starting a channel primarily dedicated to any other pro sports teams here in Minnesota, Twins, Wolves, or Wild? I'm not a big enough fan of any of them to be really speak. But then again, we don't really speak effectively about the Vikings, so I guess that doesn't matter. So yeah, baseball. So I was a huge baseball fan growing up as a kid, but just sort of fell out of it. And I feel like baseball is definitely like way too far into the analytics weeds, where I don't know, any opinion that doesn't jive with like Bill James is just like, you're stupid, man. So there's a reason why baseball is dying. Well, I mean, I do like the Wolves. I like that they have the number 1 pick. Love Cat, love D'Angelo Russell, but and so I grew up in the one corner of the state that doesn't give two poops about hockey, so I just never got into it. Noisy Boy. If you're the Vikings owner, what would you do, and why fire Zimmer? I would clear the deck. I would, even though I like Spielman, I just feel like a change is needed. I would fire Spielman, mainly for missing on quarterback. Then the new GM can do whatever he wants to do with Zimmer. The new GM I would hire would either be Daniel Jeremiah, or I would pick up Thomas Dimitroff from Atlanta, where I feel like Dimitroff gave the Falcons a ton of talent year in, year out, especially on defense. I believe his first pick was Matt Ryan. So I do believe that Dimitroff is just an extremely intelligent and extremely good evaluator of talent. Also, he surrounds himself with good people. So I would hire Dimitroff, and then whatever he wanted to do with Zimmer, he can do. Dominic Ring. Which NFL team do you think has been the most disappointing so far, other than the Vikings? Probably the Falcons. Probably the Falcons, because, man, it's got to be tough to be a Falcons fan. So you have 28-3, and then the 3.5 years since then, it's just been really disappointing. And Matt Ryan may be one of the more underrated, underappreciated quarterbacks, just mainly because of 28-3. But every single year he gets it done. He plays at a top 5 MVP adjacent level, but just rough. Colin Andrus, can't wait for our D-line next year. My dream D-line is Hunter, Pierce, Lynch, and Ngakoue. Woo! Also, if we get help at guard and sign one corner, I think this could be a Super Bowl team. Appreciate all hard work, and you put in these videos, making the tough losses seem not so bad. Hashtag 12-4. Hey, thanks for coming along. Colin, yeah, that defensive line next year, if Daniil's neck gets untweaked, which I know that the trainer said that he's going to try to not get surgery, but just get the surgery. Yeah, just get the surgery now. Have as much time as possible to rehab. Pierce being back, as long as he doesn't opt out in 2021, will be big. Free James Lynch. Gosh darn it. 8 snaps, 1 sack, just getting after it. He brings a lot more to the table than Jaleel and Armand so far, that's for sure. And Yannick the Freak, they need to retain him. Also DJ Wanham year 2, let's go. Also Fadi back. Restricted free agent. Let's go. MD, if Hunter played in all the games this season, would the Vikings have a different record? Yeah, they'd be at least 3-2. Titans Seahawks games go their way. I think they're much more feisty in the Green Bay game, for sure. Hopefully not jumping off sides on third down. MD, and also, Hunter against Pretty Ricky Wagner, the Packers right tackle. Yeah, that's no contest. I mean, you see what Daniil did to Wagner when he was in Detroit. Come on. Also, if we trade for the deadline, who should we trade for and what? Harrison Smith deserves better than this. Would you trade Harrison to a contender? Man. So you're not trading him to Seattle because they don't have any draft picks and they have Jamal Adams. Man, like, would you trade Harrison to Baltimore for 2 1s? I might do it. It's like when the Chiefs traded Tony Gonzalez to the Falcons. They're like, Tony, we love you. We're gonna let you go. We're gonna make sure that you go to a place where you could compete for a ring. Pulford Sculpt. Imagine a world where Kirk doesn't get to decide who the backup was. That would be pretty damn amazing. It'd be Sluter. Oh man, all the fans. Sluter. Where he played badly and fans let him know. Kyle Sluter on the bench, get thrust in, marches up and down the field, make plays. The Vikings win. Need a hype man. I need the locker room. Need the leader of the locker room. Get some mind. Yeah. Or if Cousins wasn't putting the kibosh on, hey, I'm the quarterback now. You're not spending a mid-round pick on a quarterback when you need weapons for me, huh? Because, hey, I was a mid-round quarterback that was drafted right after the Washington drafted their franchise quarterback, huh? It's not going to happen to me. Charlie Boldman, honestly, the 4th and 10 was on Harrison also. Got caught peeking in the backfield at Wilson's eyes. He was checking out locking on that crosser, but the only time you look at Lock was on his release. You can look at the backfield, drop a cover, Roach, Russ slide to him. Got to pay closer to the numbers as opposed to the hashes. There you go. Scoline. With the way the Vikings have been playing, I think they can get to 10 wins as long as they can finish off games. Schedule gets a lot easier. What do you think? Absolutely. Richard Olson, what do you think about making a trade pre-deadline to a team that certainly appears to have a top 3 pick? Just better odds of getting it. Certainly appear. Except, what would you trade them? I mean, because the team knows that they're going to be bad, so they're giving up a potential top 3 pick for what? Man. Vikings highlights HD. Do you miss Teddy? Teddy's looking good, man. It's been ugly the way the Panthers have been operating, but Teddy's just simply getting it done. If so, what qualities do you feel is missing in the Vikings offense 2020? I feel like Teddy under duress is a lot better than Cousins. I feel like Teddy, he isn't exactly scheme dependent. So Cousins, you've seen how Cousins operates in shotgun, 4 wide, air raid, trying to spread it out. It's just not great. But Cousins has to be under center. He has to be off of play action. Well, here's the thing. So Cousins with Adrian Peterson, when Adrian demanded the I formation, demanded quarterback under center, hated shotgun, even though that was a perfect offense for Teddy, Cousins and Adrian would be like this. That might be a Super Bowl combination. Whereas, I mean, Dalvin operates fine from the shotgun. So Dalvin and Teddy in the shotgun, I mean, that would be perfect. It would be absolutely perfect. Vikings highlights HD. Do you think we could finesse a 2nd-round pick for Anthony Barr? Not with that contract and not with the way he's played for the past 2 years. No. I think the Vikings will just have to cut him. Miles, how does the defense bounce back? The last drive was absolutely ridiculous. How do you not let them score all game except for when they have great field position and then you just implode them? That's a good point. Yeah, and never underestimate the momentum in a game. So Vikings turnover twice, great field position for Seahawks, 21 points in under 2 minutes, and then, man, 94 yards. It still annoys me. 94 yards, 2 4th downs, and you just don't get it done. Joe Smith, at what point does the Will family start looking at Chiefs OC Eric Bieniemy? Do you think it happens this offseason? Why or why not? I think they should. And Bieniemy was here when the Wills were owners. He was running backs coach for Adrian Peterson, so they have familiarity with him. And I love Bieniemy. I think that he is a great leader of men. I think that he would be a fantastic head coach. It's a shame that he hasn't gotten his call yet. And, if poop does hit the fan with Zimmer, I think they should consider it. Mr. Vikings fan, if the Vikings were able to win against Atlanta and go into the bye 2-4, what do you think the vibe will be with the team and how they'll be going to week 8? I think it'd be a lot more positive, especially if that defense has a good showing against Atlanta, where Atlanta has a lot of problems, but they can still put up yards and points even without Julio Jones. Calvin Ridley is legit. Todd Gurley looks like he's not dead, which is interesting. But yeah, even though the Falcons are winless, just getting off the mat and getting off the schneid and getting to 2-4, even though you should be 4-2, would be massive. Andy Shong, going optimistic around how the Vikings go undefeated from this point on 12-4. Well, you can't keep losing. That's a lesson that we've taken from gambling. Bioma fashion. Would you rather have DK Metcalf or Irv Smith Jr.? I'd rather have DK. I mean, Irv's great, but DK Metcalf looks like a top 5 receiver in the league right now. I would rather have Mike Hughes or Lamar Jackson or Dante Jackson. I don't even know who Dante Jackson is, but I would take him over Mike Hughes. Or wait, are we talking about Lamar Jackson from the cornerback from Nebraska? Wait, Dante Jackson, a 5'6" wide receiver? Nah, that doesn't make sense. Nah. Sklar's thoughts on possibly drafting Jamie Newman. So Newman, I liked him at Wake Forest, and then he opted out, didn't he? Because he was at Georgia. He's going to take over for Fromm, but what happened to Jamie Newman? I haven't done enough work on him. I do remember casually watching him in some games. Like, kid's big. He's got a decent arm. I do like his game, but is he a franchise quarterback? Is he going to be a future star in this league? TBD. Hayden Alvaran, is Zimmer going to even do anything with Samia? I have my doubts. I do, because remember, Zimmer's the head coach who never pulled Elfline. He's the one who never pulled Tom Compton and Mike Remmers. So, and also the one who never pulled TJ Climbing. So I have my doubts. Vikings highlights HD. If we were to trade away Zimmer, what would you expect or like in return? I think Dallas is going to give up a 2 for Zim. Dominic Ring, have you ever been recognized in public? A couple times. Still weird, though. I really like it. TJ all day. At this point, would you be mad with the 8-8? Yes. 9-7, keep up alive. Mr. Vikings fan, I started the hashtag bench Samia. Cool. Charlie Boldman, never saying tank, but it's time to sell high on vets, clear the books, get as many picks for the new GM. Why delay the inevitable? What would you give away? Harrison, pretty easy one. 2 years left on his deal. Anthony Harris, but who would buy at this point? Yannick? Do you just trade for Yannick and then you just trade him off again? That'd be hilarious, actually. Yeah. Let us know where you're watching from. Give a couple shout outs. Purple Vengeance. Hey, man. It's been a minute since I commented. Where the heck is Anthony Harris? Was our D-line past years might have helped him play more loose, or what's the deal? I think it's part of it is pass rush, part of it is veteran cornerbacks, and part of it is, since you do have a young defensive back room, Anthony Harris has been having to cover quite a bit. I mean, it was a perfect example in that last play where, for some reason, Cameron Dantzler made contact with what's his name? Swain, the rookie on the crosser route at the mesh, and just let Metcalf go. So Anthony Harris, who was playing cover 1 in that spot, has to jump onto Metcalf, where he does a decent job, even though Metcalf still gets the score. Coverage was pretty solid. But, I mean, Dantzler was supposed to run with Metcalf, as evidenced by Harrison Smith. Cam, cover your guy. So, yeah. It's really unfortunate because I think Anthony Harris is still premier coverage safety. It just really hasn't come together this year. Vikings highlights HD. Do you think if something were to happen with Zimmer, then Kubiak could step in and job as head coach? I mean, he did win a Super Bowl as head coach. Well, he doesn't want to be head coach, but then again, I don't think he necessarily wanted to be offensive coordinator either. So we've talked about this before. If something did happen with Zimmer and Kubiak stepped in, I think it's possible that he would take the job simply because of the guys under him, his assistants, depending on him, like Rick Dennison, Brian Periani, his kid, Clint Kubiak, the quarterback's coach. I think that the possibility of just keeping them employed, I think he would potentially take on that undue stress. And it's not an ego thing. Like, there's literally not an ounce of ego with Gary Kubiak. But I think it is more a selflessness where he's looking out for his guys and also his team. I mean, his offense is looking damn good at this point. Eric Hansen. A few teams have lost their bye or had moved another week. If you could choose a Vikings game to switch with the bye, which would it be? None. I like the bye where it is. Also, it would give Dalvin Cook that extra week from his adductor. Plus, you have an extra full week to get ready for the Green Bay Packers. Plus, the bye week, I'm not sure if the Vikings are subject to travel restrictions, but I think it's very likely that players probably are going to stay in town so they don't have to go through COVID quarantine and testing on the way back in yet again. So that means guys will be in the building, guys will be in the facility, 2 full weeks of watching that week one. Hey, look what this octogenarian did to you. And are you pissed off? Are you going to do something about it? I think the Vikings have a good shot to beat Green Bay. I really do. Next up. Oh, a couple shots. Pulford Skull, Nashville, Tennessee. What up? Purple Rain, Skull from Wausau, Wisconsin. Jason Warlick, Skull from SoCal. What's going on? Patrick Harm, Cedar Rapids. iNifty B, Love from Washington State. What up? Mark Sunarborg, Rhinelander, Wisconsin. What's going on? Wanderson Limera, Skull from Brazil. Brazil! Love you. Skull Production, Skull from Mars. Tesla. There you go. All right. Ben Kornick. What quarterbacks would you take over Cousins? I would take Justin Herbert. Man, he looked good last night. I would take... It's actually a good question. All right, let's bring up the list. All right, so are we talking for 1 year or are we talking about career? The rest of the way, full freight. So I would, I guess I would take Mahomes. I would take Deshaun for sure. I would take Russ. I would take Big Ben. I can't do it. I would not take Goff. I would not take Wentz. Unfortunately, I would not take Dak at this point. It's just sad. Matt Ryan's going to be 36, so no Tannehill. No on Jacoby. Definitely no on Jimmy G. No on Stafford. No on Carr. No on Breeze. No on Brady just because of age. No on Rivers, definitely not. No on Alex Smith because of age. Yes on Teddy. No on Taysom. Yes on Burrow. Yes on Mariota. Yes on Kyler. Yes on Baker. No on Foles. Yes on Tua. I like Darnold, but I'm worried that this is going to turn into like a David Carr, Josh Rosen situation. So no on Darnold, no on Trubisky, yes on Herbert, no on Daniel Jones, no on Keenum. Actually, yes on Keenum. Hell, Keenum on the league minimum, sure. No on Ty God. Maybe yes on Fitztragic, to be honest. Man, he's 38 years old and still doing the damn thing. Yes on Josh Allen. No on Daniel. God, no one has. The more we find out about Dwayne Haskins, no. No on Dalton. Yes on Jordan Love. No on McCarron. Yes on Lamar Jackson. God, RG3, that'd be hilarious. The Vikings, just for a troll, should bring in RG3 as Cousins' backup. Yes on Cam. Yes, we can. Yes on Jalen Hurts. No on everyone else, basically. Hoyer, Mannion. Oh, man. Once you get down here, it gets super depressing. Like there's 7.5 billion people on Earth. How is there only like 12 competent people who can play quarterback? And then from the rookies, the incoming rookies, I would basically take all of them. Andy Skull, Kirk should be having MVP year. The amount of horrible defenses playing this year and the way Cook is running the ball, he's not. Imagine if we didn't have a great running game. That's a good point. Yeah, especially since Cousins does need the play action. Jacob Mahia Megat, what do you think, Mike Zimmer or a different coach What do you think Mike Zimmer or different coach gets fired? Going to do with the defense. Well, bring in a 3-4. We got Michael Pierce. You have a bunch of guys who would be very solid as stand-up 3-4 outside linebackers. Go ahead. God. Let's hear. Blake Webb, score from Kentucky. What up? Bluegrass. Eric Hansen, score from Arlington. What's going on? Marquise Govan, score from South Carolina. I like South Carolina. It's a great state. Mr. Vikings fan, Trace McSorley. McSorley is interesting because I really liked him at Penn State. I think Baltimore is going to try and use him like Taysom Hill. But, I mean, dude's a fiery guy. I like him. Next up. Zach Farmer, do you think us Vikings fans need to stop hitting the panic button? Yes, this year may suck once it's all over, but we knew our dude was young and knew our O-line was going to be weak link. I think it's more frustrating because this is an eminently beatable schedule, and the Vikings should be 3-2, including wins over currently undefeated teams. Yeah. Ben Kornick, what would it take for Zimmer and Spielman to be fired? I think Spielman's safe basically no matter what. Because the talent is there. And the Vikings are talented enough to beat the Titans and beat the Seahawks. But it was in-game management decisions that... But also, certainly Spielman had a say in the Zimmer extension. So if Spielman fired Zimmer, he would be picking his third head coach. Because remember, he got here after Childress, and he picked Leslie and he picked Zimmer. So GMs generally don't get a chance to pick a third head coach, especially ones that ownership that GMs just convince ownership to add 3 years onto his deal and then have to buy that out. So it's not great. Minnesota Sports Grief, bring back Tom Johnson, Terrence Newman. God, TJ was good. And Newman was a man too. Andy Skull, it's 13-0, and Kirk threw interception and fumble and gave away 14 easy points. Change moment. I don't know how Kirk wasn't part of the problem. Interception on for sure. I don't really see how offensive lineman getting beat for a strip sack is on Kirk, but sure. No, I think Kirk leading those 2 touchdown drives in the second half, those were onions. Those were absolutely onions, but couldn't get half a yard. It's unfortunate. C. Roberts, did you see what KJ Osborne reposted on his Instagram? A photo from Diggs' page. Oh, let's see here. Not down with all the social media like the kids are on the gram. All right, see. Might have expired or might have deleted it. I don't see it. But it's funny, though, if he did. Next up is Charlie Boldman. Has Reef played his way into a little bit of trade value? He's played really good. He's played as one of the better left tackles in the league. He's got an extremely cheap price point. So, I mean, hell, if the Vikings do go fire sale, I mean, but a team may bite. I'm trying to think. Who's having issues that left? All right, so Ronnie Stanley's been hurt for the Ravens, I believe. Hell, the Seahawks may just trade for him, have him play guard. Game us out. If the Jets draft Trevor Lawrence with their first pick, how do you feel about the Vikings getting a good offensive lineman first round and they trade for Sam Darnold? Well, Vikings are probably about a range for Penny Sewell. But Wyatt Davis, the guard from Ohio State, would just be a mauler. Plug him in at right guard. In fact, going down my whole Jonah Jackson spiel again. So Jonah Jackson, Ohio State 2 years ago. Well, he's in Detroit. He's a third-round pick. But Ohio State, he was a grad transfer from Rutgers. Perfect in the zone scheme. Great movement skills. Phenomenal pass protector as well. Would have been a plug-and-play left guard for the Vikings from day one. And then just pairing him up with Wyatt Davis. But people, why are you going to take an Ohio State guard? Shut up. Shut your face. Scott the player, not the helmet. But that's unfortunate. Yeah, there's some other really good offensive linemen coming up in this draft. So doing that, and then what do you trade for Darnold? Because the Vikings don't have a 2. Like, would the Jets take a 4? Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, I'm all in. I'm in. Because Darnold's super young, too. Because remember, he came in the league, I believe, at 20. So he's young. He's shown enough where he's really intriguing. But the Jets just have a mess around him, both coaching, O-line, receivers. Yeah. I would take a shot at Darnold. I like him. Bullford Skull. Zimmer is the problem. Okay, and Kirk Wolf should go YOLO and let Gary run his ship, and Andre Mann's a DC. Buy Zimmers, and Clint could be the OC. Man, that would be the full-on Palace coup as a practical RP counselor. San Francisco calls this week and asks about Kirk. Would you? I would. Giggity goo. Vikings need to start throwing more BC and Tajay, so keep the defense guessing. Also, why do you think the Vikes? Why did the Vics get Tajay if we not playing him? Justin Jefferson is my answer. Also, they're obsessed with Chad Beebe. Patrick Harms, Leroy Horde, or Mo. I'm really good at talking today. Leroy Horde or Mo Williams. Okay, I like Leroy Horde though. If you need 2 yards, I'll get you 3. You need 4, I'll get you 3. He probably gets that 4th and inches. But Mo Williams is underrated, so everyone remembers him from the flip to Randy Moss. But Mo Williams was a really good third down back, man. The pride of Kentucky. I think he was a 3rd round pick. It played on those very 90s Vikings teams, too. Or very aughts Vikings teams. Oh, yeah, he was there for 98 Vikings. See, a career peak 03. We actually got the Rocks 745 and 5 touchdowns. Also 644. He's a rich man's Christian McCaffrey. Come on, Mo Williams, get down. I like Mo Williams. Anyway. Lord Adane grew up in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Was and still am a Sooners fan. I admit mostly because my favorite color is red. But now I may root for Iowa. I live in Iowa. But Boomer Sooner are much better than OSU. Skull or lol. Now I may now root for Iowa. Yeah, don't root for the Hawkeyes, man, because that's just pain. Like I have a bunch of friends who are Hawkeyes fans, and it's like basically if you want the experience of being a Vikings fan, but at a collegiate level, it's Iowa. Always massively disappointing. A head coach you can't get rid of. And like an old school style of football that drives you nuts. That's Iowa. Cairo. Should the Vikings try to trade for Dwayne Haskins? No, absolutely not. No. Muhammad. Afadi PFF rating. Mick made the right decision. Oh, 2 black and white numbers. By the way, thing with analytics is that they are good, but also at the end of the day, it is 2 or 3 people's opinions. Because people, PFF analysts, they go through, they grade the game, so it literally is 2 or 3 people's opinions. So, but Afad, and he has 5 pressures in each of the last 3 games, so he has been getting some heat. Finally, starting to get home. And Everson, I haven't really been following him in Dallas, but yeah, it hasn't been great. Andy Skull. I'm afraid you're right. If Vikings win a bunch of games, I don't think they take a QB, but I disagree with other quarterbacks later in draft. I watch multiple vids on them other Trey. I don't think they're much better than Kirk, and the cycle will continue. Well, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks, man. There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks taken in this draft. It might be the best quarterback draft in NFL history. But even like say right now, season end now, the Vikings would pick at 5. I still don't think it's sold that they take a quarterback just because of Cousins and also because they don't have a 2nd round pick. Minnesota Sports Grief. Should the Vikings trade for Grady Jarrett after the Falcons game? Yes. Yeah, we're actually doing a video on that coming up tomorrow. Trade Rick gets the Falcons ownership ear. Yeah, because Falcons, they said that they're not open for a fire sale, but of course that is always a, hey, free Grady Jarrett. God, how beautiful would that be? That'd be expensive, though. Vikings don't have a 2nd round pick. It may take that. Well, let's look at Grady's contract. Well, they'd have to move a lot of cap, but of course there's always money in the banana stand. Maybe Cousins a restructure. Yeah, he's 27. He's in his prime, man. Yeah, that may take the 1st round pick. So, next up. Seth V. Herman, why do people keep whining about Kirk? He's obviously not the issue. I agree we should take a quarterback probably in the 3rd round, later develop, but we shouldn't be focusing on pressing needs like 3-tech linebacker and guard. Sure. Reaver Ghoul, are you actually worried about the Falcons? Yes. You said respect them, and I think that we should, but the Packers manhandled them without using any wide receiver. I think we can wreck them. Well, obviously, I think the Vikings are going to win, but don't overlook this team. Don't look ahead to the bye or the Packers. Falcons are still a really good football team, despite their record. The Portman plays. How much would the Vikings lose out money-wise if they trade Cousins to the Niners? Is even plausible. Well, his $21 million base salary next year is already fully guaranteed, but the Niners would pick up the rest of that contract. Cap hit-wise, Vikings have $41 million on the books. Also, conceivably, you could structure it in a way where the Vikings pay the rest of Cousins' 2020 salary in exchange for a little bit more love in the trade. They could make it work cap-wise. The third day of the new league year before his 2022 salary is fully guaranteed would make some sense. Andy Skoll. I hear a lot of people blame the offense, but people don't realize Kirk is just as much to blame. You can't stand there like a statue. Why can't he step up and move the pocket? I don't think bad offensive line, other guards. I don't think this bad offensive line, other guard spot. Yeah, it's pretty simplistic, but if you put Russell Wilson in this offense, I mean, this offensive line looks 10 times better. Also, one of the big reasons why you should take like the Lamar Jackson's PFF grades, Lamar Jackson's O-line grades with a grain of salt, because Ronnie Stanley's good. I don't think he's the best left tackle in the league, because having a mobile quarterback who can buy you extra time, who can get out of jams, just really does make life easier for you. And Cousins, like, we knew what he is. Like, he needs a perfect protection, a la in Washington. We had Scherf and Moses and prime Trent Williams. It's issue here. And he doesn't magically pick up pocket awareness. That's not going to happen. It's one of the big reasons why Case Keenum was so successful in 2017 is that he did buy extra time. Keenum does have good pocket awareness as presence. So he was able to make a 2017 Vikings offensive line, which was not good, into something resembling competency. Last one. Griffin Creer. Send Kirk to San Francisco, Mike Zimmer to the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys might fire Mike McCarthy after 1 year. They might. Would love to see it. So that is it. Livestream. You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along. Also, this week on the Hot Dish with Atlanta, we're doing chicken and waffles. We're going to film that this afternoon. They'll be out sometime this week. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Check out the videos from today. Lots of film room action going on. And we're almost 30K subs. Thanks for coming along. You guys are the best. See you tomorrow. Skoll, production value.